So it could be on that boat there, or it could be on the other side, somewhere over there.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This video is going to be all about our time in Italy.
We were in Italy for 6 months, so here are just a few of the highlights. So stay tuned to find out what Luke lost.
We arrived in Italy after what must have been one of the most scariest drives to date. We travelled to Italy from Switzerland using the famous Ringblom pass. The road climbs to an incredible 2,005 metres before quickly dropping to just 272 metres by the time it reaches Domodossola in Italy.
After our experience the previous day coming down the mountain from Zermatt, we'd been aware of brake fade and had been dreading this drive ever since.
So brake fade occurs when the temperature of the brakes increases beyond their operating temperature, in effect causing the brakes to fail, reducing their ability to stop the vehicle.
Commercial vehicles of our size usually have 3 types of braking systems. We only have 1. On our way up the mountain, we noticed several burnt patches on the side of the road from previous vehicle fires and signs depicting lorries with their brakes on fire.
I read online that to prevent brake fade you should continue driving, only pressing the brakes lightly ever so often and not stopping to let them cool down. The next 20 kilometres was a continual descent and the vehicle would have built up too much speed. We had no choice but to stop at each and every lay-by we came across.
And finally, we were in Italy, the land of pizza, cheap wine and people with gelato. We spent a couple of nights in the small market town of Domodossola before heading to Lago Maggiore, one of Italy's great northern lakes. It is the second largest lake in Italy and almost all of the bottom of the lake lies below sea level. We parked right on the waterfront in the beautiful town of Stresa, a town previously frequented by Milan's rich and famous. Even now, this has to be one of our favourite places we visited, surrounded by snow-capped mountains, temperatures in the mid-20s, and the sounds of waves lapping along the shore beside us.
We took a ferry to the other side of the lake and then a bucket lift to the top of the hill where we were to have lunch. It was when we reached the top we realised that Luke had left something on the ferry down below.
So Charlotte, what are you doing right now?
Trying to see if I can find Luke's helmet that he's left on a boat.
So at the moment I'm going helmet finding. So it could be on that boat there. There's another boat in the port there, and the office is there, or it could be on the other side, somewhere over there.
So, Charlotte, hello. What's happened?
Luke's found his helmet, it's on the boat still. Captain has it, Luke's quite excited.
So we found it. So basically, Charlotte's rewarding me with some ice cream.
So here's Luke, sat on his arse, because he can't stand up. They're new, we only got them today and Luke didn't stand up the whole time, he was just sat down. And I'd literally just learnt the word bum. And so I went, oh look, there's like loads of bums up there. And one of the guys was like, yeah, coolie. Telling me like what the word is in Italian. So then when I explained my story about Luke, he was sat down the whole time. I said, or what I tried to say was like he was on his bum the whole time.
On the paddleboard, because it was cold, it was like...
He didn't want to fall in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What I ended up saying was he likes it up the bum.
Yeah, she told 2 builders I like having sex at the
These 2
bum.
huge big builders.
After that, Luke thought it was time to move on. We'd left our mark on the place and it's in our memories forever. From Lago Maggiore we're headed south, spending the weekend in Milan before heading to the Ligurian coast. It was great to see the city sights and famous landmarks, but we prefer stumbling across a hidden gem and off the beaten track. We were told by some locals to avoid driving Gloria through the streets of Genoa, so we bypassed the city and drove along the coast in search of a place to park.
What a great coastline. This is amazing. Wow, this is fun.
Oh, look at the colour of the water!
Go swimming. Travelling down the coast we arrive in Cinque Terre, a protected national park spanning 8 kilometres of coastline. As usual, Charlotte had come up with a crazy way of visiting the area. Instead of getting the train or boat along the coast to visit the 5 towns that make up Cinque Terre, like every normal person would do, we would be packing our paddleboards and paddling from the 2nd to the 5th town. 5 minutes into the paddle, we'd already stopped for a lunch break, tying off to a buoy and watching the world go by. Besides, we only had another 5 hours to go. Several hours later, we were being swarmed by Portuguese men-of-war jellyfish.
No, we weren't. They were these blue sailor jellyfish. We headed to the 4th town for a well-deserved beer, only to find a banana had exploded in our bag and gone all over my clothes. Pretending to clothes.
Driving south through Italy, we passed through Viareggio, a Tuscan seaside city known for its carnival and luxury yacht builders. Unfortunately, we missed the annual boat show by a matter of days, but I still managed to look round some of the famous yacht builders, whether the security guards liked it or not. We managed to find the only free beachside parking in the area. Luckily, it was right next to the national park, so we were free to roam the beach without paying for sunbeds. The biggest surprise was that the beaches are mostly private in Italy. The previous 40 kilometres of coastline had been back-to-back beach bars, each with hundreds of sunbeds neatly lined up. We were astonished by the number of sunbeds and how little public or free beach access there was. Access to the sea is a thorny issue in Italy, and each year protesters attempt to reclaim beaches. After a quick trip to Pisa, we went for a relaxing trip to Cascata del Molino. Yep, you've probably seen it before. Beautiful hot springs. It was great.
Until I got attacked by a red worm. A quick tip for anyone with long hair: if you're going to hot springs, be sure to tie it up. All roads lead to Rome, so it was about time we finally arrived. We saw the sights and were swarmed by people at Trevi Fountain.
On the Sunday, we headed to the Vatican to be blessed by the Pope.
From Rome, we headed south to Napoli.
Napoli is known for being a very dirty city, with many of the streets lined with litter and garbage bags. This is due to the mafia, or the Camorra, having control over the waste disposal services. They get paid a lot of money but don't actually do anything. Besides, would you dare tell them otherwise?
Another thing we noticed was all the crazy moped drivers wearing no helmets. We learned that the citizens of Napoli don't wear helmets as they are afraid of being mistaken for a mafia member, who usually only wear full-face helmets when they're on a hit.
Right, can we get here in the motorhome?
No way.
About the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on, that shade of doubt hanging around that old. 'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone.
Hello. Ok, sì, tutto bene?
Want the keys to open that?
Ok, sì? Oh, no, grazie. Sì, un scooter inglese. Sì, grazie. Buongiorno.
And also it's too cheap.
Leaving the Amalfi Coast, we headed cross-country, stopping halfway to do some work.
And Luke ran the battery flat again after leaving the headlights on. We found an amazing place to park just outside of Polignano a Mare before visiting one of the most romantic restaurants in the world.
Well, that wasn't until Charlotte arrived anyway.
Is it weird that I have some strange obsession of getting sucker cups stuck to my tongue? Octopus sucker cups.
You're ruining the song.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our second episode. Next week we are in Greece, so join us for Meteora, islands, more beach hopping, and tzatziki. Take care. Bye. What's up, Charlotte?
Luke's a nightmare.
What?